How are you, buddy?
I'm not as good as Bianca Sensori, but I'm pretty good.
Well, we may get into that later.
You're wishing you were going to get into that later.
Something we have to get off our chest, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's a different story.
This is the show that helps guys get through what they're going through on a weekly basis for an hour if they're going through a mental or physical issue. We want to help them take their mind off what's happening in their lives and give them a little levity, hopefully, and talk a little sports. So happy to be here. Before we get into the show, I want to do one thing. Our third segment, starting at 5:30 today, will be all about Super Bowl trivia. So if you have a Super Bowl trivia question that you think me and Robert and Mike can't answer, text it in at 470-777-6787. Once again, in Kennesaw, that's 470-777-6787, right here at Miller's Ale House.
And it's on your screen.
Oh, and it's that big number on the screen.
And it's a big number on your screen that you're watching, yeah. Why didn't you tell me that earlier, Larry, instead of me having to read it?
Well, that was funny. I went back and I was watching one of the old shows, and, we do our normal, what number was that? And I'm like, wait, it's the big number on the screen the whole time I'm talking. That's which number it is.
That's funny. All right, so go back to the chicken sandwich today. Thank you, Millers.
I went brand new, baby. Hot wings.
Hot wings.
Not mild wings. No, don't. Do you want a bone in or a bone out? That's not a real wing. That's a chicken tender.
Just the ones that'll burn the roof of your mouth off?
We're going to find out. Right. We'll find out.
So if Robert's not on the second show tonight, you'll know why. Larry, how about you?
I had a cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger in paradise. Right here at Miller's Ale House.
This is paradise.
Yep. All right, we're going to get the show on the way.
There's paradise right there. Paradise just left the building.
Yeah, but she'll be back. All right, so let's get our first commercial out of the way.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about this next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take that final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you, so please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758.
What's that number on the screen?
I said 440-561-0758.
And we thank you, Ron Smith, for being the sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. We will welcome back our second-time guest and fantasy football guru, Mr. Mike Palmquist. Wait a minute, Mr. Mike. The crowd's going to cheer in a minute. There they are.
I would normally object to you calling him a guru, but he did lead our league in scoring this year. So
exactly. Yeah.
That's guru status.
Congrats. How much money did you get for that? Oh, nothing. That's right. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk mostly about the Super Bowl today, but we do have one little continuing thing that we do. The greatest athlete to ever wear a certain number, and this won't take long. We're at 46, and there's just not that many great athletes.
Well, there are if your son wore this number or something like that. But outside of having family members, with 46, yeah, it's a pretty short list.
Yeah. So Andy Pettit is one. Lee Smith. Did he finish his career with the Braves?
No.
Lee Smith. I know he spent the most of his years with the Cubs.
No. Lee Smith actually never was a Brave.
Okay. I thought for some reason there was some closer that came here.
There was a couple. Wagner came here. Garber was here. Wagner was here.
I know Gino was here, yeah. But, I thought somewhere in the 46 would be a great linebacker or something. There was one tight end, Todd Christensen, with the Raiders. Right. And he was probably the closest thing to a
And I'll say this for Todd Christensen, I believe the best play that happened ever in history of sport by a number 46 that's that old throw where you see Stabler to Christensen, and Christensen, instead of looking up over a shoulder, catches the ball right over the top, and it's
right over the top of his head.
Right over the top of his head. One of the greatest catches ever. Had to have been a Super Bowl play or AFC Championship game for it to be that big. But
yeah, we may even talk about that a little bit later on. You never know. She's back, Adriana.
Guess who's back? Red Bull again.
All right. So for me, there is only one choice. And Larry and I were discussing it before the show, and he said he'd never take Andy Pettit because he's a Yankee. Well, you kind of feel the same way, right?
Not just because he has a big, huge nose, I'm not throwing him completely under the bus for that, but no, I wouldn't take Andy Pettit because Andy admitted that he took steroids,
performance-enhancing drugs,
and he is the only person who has ever admitted to it, and the whole world has gone, I forgive him. and it's kind of wild. I really don't, I mean, there's a lot of people who've come out and said, yeah, I did that. Or, A-Rod, I came out, I did that. Yeah. People are like, down with you, down. Andy, I like Andy so much. It's all right, Andy. So, but yeah, I got to go Lee Smith. Played for 872 teams. and
when there was only 12 in the league.
There was only 12 in the league. Let's see.
He had that saves record for a long time.
He did, yeah.
But, he was a Cub. He was a Red Sox. He was a Cardinal. He was a Yankee. He was an Oriole. He was an Angel. He was a Red.
He wasn't that nice a guy.
And he was an Expo. I mean, that's a lot. That'd be a really cool basement. That'd be the first thing I would do.
He did win 3 Reliever of the Year awards.
Rolaids, Reliever of the Year.
He is 3rd all-time in career saves.
Which, as you said, he had that stat for a long time before it was even a real thing. So, being that he's not been passed by 40 guys is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and he was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2019. So that warrants a greatest athlete at a certain number, wouldn't you think?
It does for me. What do you think there, Mike?
I wasn't prepared for your argument. I was going to say Andy Pettit, just because I feel like during that era, there was fewer big game pitchers in the postseason than
no
Pettit.
Doubt about it.
But you got me with the steroids.
Well, and like I said, he was actually coming back from an injury, took them, so it wasn't like prolonged usage probably and all that other thing. I always thought it was crazy. He's the only person to ever go, yeah, I did that. And everybody's like,
I know. It almost felt like he was getting ahead of it.
But as far as big game pitchers, yeah, you knew it was trouble if you were rooting for the other team and it was, big nose Pettit on the mound in Game 6. It's like, because he was pretty unflappable.
Right. He seemed to be at his best when coming off a loss where the bullpen had to come in, in the 5th inning the night before. So.
Who else was pitching for the Yankees when Pettit was there? Was he their ace?
He was usually their number 2. He was behind Clemens.
Yeah, Roger Clemens.
There was a time when he was probably right behind Mussina.
Mike Mussina.
There was probably a time when he was right behind.
Was David Wells or David Cohn ever an ace?
David Cohn. David Cohn is who I was just trying to come up with, and Wells would have been right in there pitching game before, game after. So
yeah,
he did well.
This was a tough one though. I thought I was slick, and I was googling 46 for NHL. Nothing. This was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. 46 is tough, and Robert made the point last week that all these numbers from here on up till we get to a bunch of receivers are going to be pretty tough. They're going to be linemen and linebackers and stuff, or pitchers.
I think the one thing, yes, there's obviously I can come up with 77, a 99. There's some big numbers, but I think until we get to number 80 and we can start throwing all those wide receivers for
and
the
88.
first. Well, yeah, but 80, 81, 82.
Yeah.
I think the whole entire 80s will be interesting wide receivers.
Yeah. Now Luke Groza deserves an honorable mention, but he wore 76. I think most of his career. But he did wear 46 briefly.
Luke Rose, he played for like 118 years, right?
He played for the same teams that Lee Smith played for.
Yeah, and in a different sport.
In a different sport, yeah. Same city, different team. Yeah,
no, it's impressive. What even the guys on our 46 list where we look at, Groza did forever. Pettit was one of the most feared pitchers in his thing. Lee Smith had the record when he retired, and Christensen has the catch. Before there was the catch. I think he had the catch.
Yeah. So my brother is really good friends with Bruce Suter. Bruce passed away a couple of years ago. But when he was inducted to the Hall of Fame, he took my brother with him. And at the time, my brother had one of like 3 baseballs that was signed by everybody that had 300 saves, and Lee Smith was one of them. So that's not the case anymore. I mean, it's changed since then, but pretty cool thing. I think we all nod to Lee Smith, except for Mike. He's going to stick with the druggie.
I mean, you do you.
big game druggie.
You do you.
Big game druggie. There you go.
Yeah. That's one thing to be an A-ball player on drugs. Yeah, hey, this dude was big money, big drugs.
Money, big drugs.
It works.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the Super Bowl, but let's get a couple of commercials done before we do.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
I can't see that screen very well. What does it say?
That's because your eyes got hacked by Facebook, too. 706-217-2095.
Thank you, Joshua Smith. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
And we thank you, Brian. Brian, hey, posted something really cool with that. I can't remember what it was.
No, it wasn't that good. It was bacon and,
bacon and something.
Out of all the different things that he brings to the table, this one was
I
one of
would've
those
tried
things.
that one.
Yeah. You know, it was because it had bacon.
Yeah, anybody, you can't go wrong with bacon. So thank you, Brian, for being a sponsor, as well as Joshua and Tammy. Happy to have everybody on board. And big football game coming up this week. But, you know, this thing has now been played for 58 years. This is the 59th Super Bowl. So we want to take a look back and look at some great Super Bowls and some bad ones. Thought I had the best ones on the list first, but let's talk about the worst ones first.
Let's just go. Last time it was in Atlanta, 13-3, Patriots Rams.
Yep.
Pretty boring.
I hate the Patriots, and there's nothing worse than watching them suck, and still come out on top. So I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I got a few on my list. I did a little research here. Number 4 was 1971. Baltimore 16, Dallas 13. What was unusual about that game? You remember what was so bad?
That was the only time a Super Bowl MVP came from the losing squad. Chuck Howley won MVP.
Yeah, but something worse than that. 11 turnovers in the game. 11 turnovers in the game. That's a pretty sloppy football game.
That's bad.
Yeah, couldn't be a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure I watched it. I just don't remember.
Which I didn't know anything about the turnovers, but that probably goes to one of the reasons why a defensive guy won it for a losing team. There's fumbles and recoveries everywhere.
Yeah, so a couple of others that are notable.
I bet I know what Mike wants to say.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say when the Seahawks won in 14, so I loved it. But we had just moved to Atlanta, and all my non-Seahawks friends and coworkers in Atlanta were telling me what a boring Super Bowl it was because it was already decided by halftime. So, but I was gonna that one, and then Robert was absolutely right. The last time Atlanta hosted a Super Bowl, that game was pretty boring.
I figured your worst one. Well, I guess that really wasn't the question. This is best or worst, but I was thinking,
I was thinking like boring game.
When they didn't hand the ball to Mar Lynch.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to go there.
No, there's some others I had on my list with Super Bowl number 4, which was, believe it or not, the year before number 5. So 2 in a row were really bad games. Kansas City 23 and Minnesota 7, 16-0 at halftime, and it never got close.
That's the one that was at Tulane.
Yeah. Larry, did you go to that? Oh, no, wait, you weren't born yet, were you?
He was born in 1970, January 11th, 1970.
Larry was 6, all right. The other one was Green Bay, Super Bowl number 2, 33-14, Green Bay over Oakland. Again, a game that was never close.
Well, there's been some stinkers in the world. One of my favorite ones, the 88 Super Bowl, the Super Bowl that was played in '88. Washington Redskins beat John Elway. Final score was 42-10. That was the first time a black quarterback had won MVP. Doug Williams.
Yeah.
And interesting thing about that game, Broncos were winning 10-0. At one point in that game, man, there was a lot of the last 6 touchdowns all went for the same team. And as I remember, it was a crazy second quarter where Williams threw like 4 touchdown passes in the second quarter, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and
Hit everybody in the posse.
I think the worst score ever was the 55-10 game where San Francisco beat.
The night, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about the Super Bowl shuffle team. That was a
Icky
46.
Woods.
I was going to say
That was 46-10. The one that you're referring to is the 55-10.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The Niners beat Denver, right? 55-10?
Niners beat Denver 55-10, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been some pretty ugly Super Bowls. But to me, the 28-3 game was ugly. I mean, that's one of the worst Super Bowl games to me.
Well, correct. Because I mean, if somebody from Spokane or Topeka or Tulsa or something, well, that was a great game. No, it really wasn't. But if you had a dog in the fight, yes, that is the worst game of all time. So, yeah, that one's horrendous.
Yeah, that was. It still hurts.
I still love to tell the story that my next door neighbor, the guy who lived next to me at that time, had the dish. Or AT&T or whatever. The game has still never finished. It went blacked out in the fourth quarter, and everybody left his house with the Falcons dominating, thinking that they won, and it never came back on.
Well,
they never knew.
I'll never forget. I was watching at Bobby Clay's house, and Falcons were up, and they said, "Oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl." I said, "Man, we need one more score. We need one more score." And I just say that for the whole second half. And as soon as the Patriots won the coin flip in the second and in overtime, I said, "I'm gone. We're never going to see the football."
So, taking away being a Falcons fan, what, in your opinion, what's worse, the way the Seahawks lost to the Patriots or the way the Falcons lost to the Patriots?
That's a toss-up for me because give the ball to Marshawn and let him plow across.
Sure, but and yeah, and it's I can't remove myself from myself for that conversation or that but it's the Falcons. I mean, you were right where you needed to be, and if you scored, you won. We were building statues and had already figured out parade routes and everything else
Run the
under
ball
the sun.
3 times, you take a field goal, go up 2 scores, and the ball game's
mind-boggling.
over.
How can we lose? We can't lose this game. There's no possible way.
Yes, we can.
Oh, we could.
I agree, because remember a couple plays before Javon Curse had that catch where he basically kicked it to himself, and I thought, oh, we're very lucky if we win this game. So.
Yeah.
And another one that, just for the record, as long as we're talking about painful memories, my beloved Buffalo Bills, they stunk it up 4 in a row, but it was the 4th Super Bowl. We shanked the field goal to beat the Giants.
Scott Norwood, right?
Got busted by the Skins the next year. Cowboys put 52 up on us the next year, and then we had a rematch. So 27th Super Bowl, we lost 52 to 17.
Oh, 17, that's right.
And then the next year, it came to Atlanta. I can remember watching it at my buddy Scott Gress' house, and at halftime, we were winning 13-6. Yeah, 13-6, 13-3 or 13-6. And all my buddies are coming up to me and they're like, "Yeah, man, you're doing it. I was like, "Yeah, we should be up 27-0 right now. I don't feel real good about this game." And sure enough, we scored 0 points in the second half. Dallas scored 24, and we lost that game 30-13.
Yeah, that was another one I was going to put as the ugly one, but I didn't want to give Cowboys any credit for winning anything.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Although as much as I like to throw a good Cowboy fan under the bus, I will say it was easier when I was younger and they were decent occasionally. I almost feel like somebody needs a badge of courage or something to say, yes, I've still been cheering for them this whole time, because they're garbage.
It's kind of funny they're the last NFC team now to go to a conference championship game.
What is that? What's your question?
The Cowboys are I said it's kind of funny. The Cowboys are now the last NFC team to be in a conference championship game for the NFC. Now that Washington went this year.
Oh, Oh, it's been longest for them to make it there.
Yeah.
I got
The
you.
longest one not to have been in
the longest streak of not making it to the NFC Championship
Words
game.
are tough. Sorry.
I love it.
But yeah, I enjoyed that stat when I.
Yeah, I like that. I like that
too.
stat a lot.
Yeah, I like that, Susan. All right, so those are the worst ones. Let's flip the coin now and go to some of the better games. I've got 4. Number 1 was, I think it was 42, the Giants and the Patriots. 17-14, I think it was Eli's first win with the pass to David Tyree, and they beat the Patriots.
Catch it on the head.
Catch it on the head, yeah.
What a horrible game. No scoring or anything else, but they caught the right pass. And if you get a chance, have you seen that play in a while? Not just the. So I watched something not too long ago on that Super Bowl, and there's a play 2 times before where he completes a third down that was just a miracle. But on that play to Gil Tyree, he almost gets sacked and loses like 12 yards and should have been, and then ends up heaving it. So it was all these different things before he could ever catch it on his head. And
David Tyree.
Thank goodness.
David Tyree.
David Tyree.
You said Gil Tyree before.
Gil Tyree. I don't remember Gil Tyree.
That's why you said Gil Tyree. All right.
David's cousin.
There you go.
First cousin, also related to Lee Smith. How about you, Mike? Have you got a favorite?
So there was one game that stood out. I felt it was very underrated when the Packers beat the Steelers in the 2011 Super Bowl. That was a really good game.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was the only time Aaron Rodgers got to hold a trophy.
Yep. His only trophy. I got 3 others that I looked at. Super Bowl 13 with the Steelers 35-31 over the Cowboys.
Which one?
35-31, Super Bowl 17.
So
No, I'm sorry, 13.
So that is the most incredible gambling story ever.
Yeah.
So back then there was only 1 week for the Super Bowl. There wasn't a week off. When the line started out, it was a 4.5 point line. The line went to 4 on Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday, the line was 3.5. The reason why that is so interesting is that 80% of all the people who bet Monday through Friday took the Cowboys. And then whoever bet on Friday was a push, and then 80% of the bets that were placed on Saturday and Sunday took the Steelers.
Yeah.
So basically that game wiped out all but 7 casinos in Vegas, and there was only 7 casinos that were able to pay their debts. Those are the 7 that you're still paying today because everybody else went under from that. And that's why one of the reasons why Vegas doesn't like to move the line. They like a stationary because occasionally crazy things can happen. Yeah. I'm going to throw one more out there that I thought was amazing. I hated it. I was a Kurt Warner guy, and when Kurt Warner came back for the Cardinals and he took that lead and he thought, hey, they're going to do it. And then Big Ben and Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone with 8 seconds left to win that game, and you're just, I was broken, but it was like, wow, that's a heck of a game, I guess, if you're waving a little terrible towel.
The greatest world on tour, the greatest show on tour.
Another more recent one, the Eagles Patriots. That was a good game with the Philly special.
Philly special.
You look at different things like that though. The Braves won the World Series when they had no Acuna. Here's the Eagles. They won it on their second and third quarterbacks. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah. So for a long time, my favorite one was Super Bowl 34, the one that happened in Atlanta with the Rams and the Titans, where Kevin Dysart got tackled on the one.
Half yard away.
Great football game. It was really enjoyable. And then a couple of years ago, Kansas City and San Francisco is probably my favorite game now, the overtime game, which kind of really changed things around in terms of how the overtimes are played. I mean, everybody's got to get a chance, and I like that rule. But I thought, to me, that was a very enjoyable football game to watch from a spectator's perspective.
If I didn't have so much baggage going into all these games, because, sometimes it's a great game, and I'm like, I hate that team so much. I just can't enjoy this. But that was a good game. That was a good game.
It was. And hopefully, it seems like a lot of the earlier Super Bowls were the ones that were bad, and the ones from like 2005 and further have been better games.
Well, maybe.
Except for the 13-3 game that you guys were talking about.
But even in the 13-3 game, it's still a two-possession game. It's close. Anything could happen. All the rules are changed to favor the offense, at this point. So it would make sense that all the games in the last 20 years have been a little closer and possibly a little better.
Unless you're Kansas City, you don't have to worry about the rules. Because did you see they're trying to void that game?
Void what game?
The game 2 weeks ago, San Francisco and Buffalo.
Oh, Kansas City and Buffalo?
Yeah. Yeah, McDermott has said this game should be voided.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to happen.
No, and that's
I
always.
think he's got a legitimate case.
I love. There's nothing better than a major league umpire telling me in baseball that we are. What do they call it in the game? Not boycotting it. We are. Whatever it is, it's like
forfeiting.
They're protesting.
We're protesting this game. Yeah, go ahead. Guess what? The numbers will still be the same in the newspaper tomorrow morning, and they'll never change.
Same thing will happen here. All right.
Exactly.
Let's do Brain Train because I got a feeling our trivia section might run a little long.
Hey, it's Melissa again with Brain Train Centers. Did you know March is Brain Injury Awareness Month? At Brain Train Centers, we are dedicated to helping anyone who has suffered from a concussion or brain injury. You may not even realize you have been affected by a brain injury because maybe you didn't hit your head. You can injure your brain from a jolt, a fall, or even whiplash. Some symptoms you may experience are memory decline, focus issues, or even bad moods. We could help you heal your brain. All you have to do is come in for a brain assessment at one of our locations and you could see how your brain is functioning. This is your first step to taking back control of your brain's health. Just give us a call or text us at 470-291-2778 or for more information visit braintraincentersinc.com.
Thank you, Megan and Melissa, for sponsoring the Three Guys Who Love Sports.
The show we do?
Yeah, I'm all tied up here with getting ahead with my trivia questions. Larry, keep us posted if we get any texts. I've got my first one, which I think is the coolest trivia question. There are 3 players that have won the Heisman, they've won the National College Championship, and the Super Bowl. Do we know who those 3 players are?
I have.
3.
I have at different points in my life. Whether or not I'm coming up with that right now.
I don't even think I can get one.
I bet Robert will get one.
Heisman, Super Bowl, and Super Bowl MVP?
No, Heisman, College Championship, and Super Bowl champ.
I was all about Roger Staubach until you said that.
No, Roger.
Heisman, National Championship, Super Bowl.
Yep.
Well, because our show is ticking, I think you should just go ahead and tell us and spare me.
Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett, 1976, Pittsburgh Panthers.
Pittsburgh Panthers? Oh, college.
Panthers.
Yeah. Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen. Great team from, would that have been the 1979? Either way, USC.
Trojans, right?
Yeah, USC.
Yeah. And Charles Woodson, the only defensive player ever to win it.
And Charles Woodson did it for 2 teams.
Yep. And there is somebody this year that can join that club. Who is that?
Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith is right, yeah. Yeah. So he could join the club of 4.
That'd be whenever there's only 4 in a club. That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah. All right. Here's something else, a fact I learned today by doing this. There has never been a Heisman Trophy winner that has caught a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl.
Huh.
You know, and that's a great stat, but the reason why I'm going to explain it in my own way is back when there used to be players who were running backs and wide receivers who won the Heisman, they didn't throw the ball. Now only quarterbacks get it, so it's very difficult for you to catch a ball if you're a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because, you know, We don't like to give it to anybody but the quarterback anymore.
No, I thought that was a pretty cool question, though.
Here's one for you. How much did the Super Bowl ticket cost for Super Bowl I?
I saw that one today. I know, $12.
$12
for Super Bowl one.
Jeez.
Kind of big money, not real sure.
Yeah. Along with that, I'll ask a funny one too. Who was the first person to perform at halftime of a Super Bowl?
I believe it was that
think I saw this one
kids
today.
group. Yeah, I mean, I remember the kids that sing, "I'd like to teach the world to sing."
Those were the Hilltop Singers.
The Hilltop Singers. That's
not who it
That is
was.
the correct answer.
No, it's not the correct answer.
Well, they were there before whoever you're going to say, right?
No.
Okay. What do you got?
1971, somebody that you would never guess. She sang "Hello, Dolly." Carol Channing was the first halftime
Hello,
performer.
my
at a
baby.
Super
Hello,
Bowl.
my darling.
In 1971. Just a long difference from the girl that was at the Grammys. Carol Channing would not be good showing up in a
No, we don't want. We do not want to see anything that has to do with that.
No, not at all. That would not be good. Yeah, I found that kind of odd. Who was the first wild card team
Steelers.
to win the Super Bowl?
Steelers.
Incorrect.
Raiders.
Raiders.
Then Steelers.
Yeah, Raiders were first.
I know both of them got in as six seeds and won it. Was that 1980 that the Raiders won
I
it?
didn't write the year down.
Probably
But
1980.
that's probably what it was. First left-hander to win the Super Bowl. Quarterback.
Steve Young?
Nope. Second.
Was it the Snake?
It was the Snake, Ken Stabler.
I was trying to think there
Super
was.
Bowl 13.
I was trying to think there was somebody before him.
Yeah. Nope. That was it. Another cool question I have, and you guys better come up with something because I'm about out.
I have two.
I got two more. There's the other thing I had. I was trying to. What team has played in 4 Super Bowls but never held a lead?
This is one of mine.
Is it?
I'll stay
So you
quiet.
got-
Yeah.
I would guess it's the Minnesotas.
That would be the Minnesota
There you go.
Vikings. Yeah.
Good job. Because you knew it couldn't have been the Bills because they had the lead at the half in the last Super Bowl. So.
Yeah.
We've had multiple leads in those horrible, horrible days.
Yeah. Oh, I've got some more. I'm going to. What player holds the most career rushing yards in Super Bowl games?
I would guess. I'm looking at him. Roger Craig.
Emmitt
Go.
Smith?
Nope. Played in 4 Super Bowls.
Franco.
Four.
Franco Harris is the winner.
I figured it would be Roger above Franco, but
354 yards. Super Bowls 9, 10, 13, and 14.
354. That means you're averaging just about 90 yards a Super Bowl. Not too bad.
Yeah. Here's another one. What 2 teams are tied for the most Super Bowl losses?
Bills and Vikings?
No. I was really shocked.
Dolphins, Cowboys.
No. Patriots and the
Say the
Broncos.
I was gonna say the
Patriots and
will win.
Broncos. That makes sense because the Patriots lost 2 before
That's right.
Brady got there. They lost
They
that
lost 3 with
1985.
Yeah.
And
Who was
then
their quarterback then? It wasn't Sam the Bam. No, Sam Bam Cunningham was way before
Bill
that.
Kenny,
Yeah, Bill Kenny. Yeah.
my dad's name.
Cool. Here's another fun trivia question. What Super Bowl? I'm not good with this. 44, I think, beat out what TV show to become the most watched TV program in history?
Final episode of MASH.
Final episode of MASH. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah. Anytime you get in front of the final episode of MASH, you're a
doing
must-watch
okay.
TV. You're must-watch TV.
Yeah. All right. And my last one. I already did it. First left-handed quarterback. Who was the first? Well, we already talked. Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. All right. It's all yours, Mikey. You got the next 10 minutes.
Well, I had the Vikings one that you said about never having a lead in 4 Super Bowls, but so I'll make this one a true or false because this was just kind of a fun fact. Has there ever been a team that's been shut out in the Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Nope.
You would be correct.
Yeah.
The other one I had was, who was the MVP the year the Seahawks won it in 2014? Because they had Marshawn, they had Russ, they had the Legion of Boom. Who was the MVP of the Super Bowl?
Was it Richard Sherman?
It was. It wasn't Wagner.
It was Bobby Wagner?
We got the position right.
It was a linebacker. Who was it?
Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith.
Oh, yeah, that was my next
He
guess.
had a pick six. He recovered a fumble. Had like 9 tackles, and he left in free agency the following year and was a journeyman after that until he retired in 21. But
And he won the MVP?
just had the night of his life.
So were him and Charles Woodson the only two ever to win the MVP? Oh, Charles Woodson didn't, did he?
You're
didn't
talking
win
about
the-
like defensive?
Yeah.
No, I think Charles Woodson did win the Super Bowl MVP for the Packers that year, didn't he?
Did he?
I thought Rodgers got it.
Was that the 2011
Did Woodson
season?
get it for the year the Raiders won it? Because that was a blowout.
Oh, that's right. He played for the Raiders. Yeah. Robert's doing some research here.
There we go. MVP. Come on.
We're under the
It's-
auspices of.
We're waiting for buffering.
We're buffering.
Here, we'll just go to some more questions. I got a few here. How much does the Lombardi Trophy weigh,
Oh, I read this one today, too.
and who made it?
I think I read this one today. 7 pounds and Tiffany.
Take this guy to Vegas.
Yeah. I read it today. It's not like I remembered it from a long time ago.
7 pounds.
Yeah, that's not very much. Not very much. Do you remember when Tom threw it into the water?
Yeah.
During the
Yeah.
guy can't throw an incomplete freaking pass to save his life in the game itself. Hucks it into the ocean. Beautiful, Tom. First wild card team. We went over that. And we got a lot of buffering going on over here.
Yeah. I used to take buffering for my headaches, but I don't take it anymore.
You don't do that?
No.
That's interesting. The Lombardi Trophy is only 7 pounds because whenever they lift up the Stanley Cup, it always looks like
They
they're
look
about
like they're going to fall over. You're absolutely correct.
They skate with it around the pond, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Who was what solo singer first performed the national anthem?
Oh,
1974.
I read this today too. It was like a soul guy. I can't remember who it is, but I did see it.
Charlie Pride.
Charlie Pride. That's right.
How many chicken wings are consumed on Super Bowl Sunday?
A bunch. That was in the. You must be looking at the same
billion.
list I looked at.
1.45 billion.
You must be looking at the same list I looked at.
How much do Americans spend on beer for Super Bowl Sunday?
That's the same
1
list I looked
billion.
1.3 billion.
at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Pretty-
that like the 30 top questions or something like that?
Yeah, the
so
one
you
that-
see a lot of the ones that I asked are in that one. Charlie Pride. What else did Charlie Pride sing? Do you remember any Charlie Pride song?
There's one song that
He did "Kiss an Angel Good Morning" and "Love Her Like the Devil When You Get Back Home." Always got Charlie Pride and Charlie Rich confused.
How many rushing yards did the Chicago 46 defense allow against the Patriots in Super Bowl 20?
Was that in '85 when Chicago won in New Orleans?
That bad mamma jamma defense. How many rushing yards did the Patriots muster
I
that
would say
day?
it was less than 20.
Negative 13.
Hold on, we're almost there.
He's asking the question. He just didn't know the answer.
No, there's. I got to scroll for a long time for this. B is the answer.
B. Oh, that's what I thought.
Hold on, let me go back and make sure that's a B. 7 yards
Well,
rushing.
yards.
We kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I said less than 20. You said 0, right?
I
You
said
He was on the
Yeah.
negative
13.
side.
Yeah.
7's not a good day at the office, though.
No, that's not.
None of them are good. Here you go. Here's one of my favorite lines. Before leading his team on a game-winning 92-yard drive, Joe Montana famously spotted what comedian in the stands while huddling with his teammates? The Super Bowl is 23. They're in Detroit. And the story is told great by the offensive lineman. During the timeout, Montana's over on the sideline, and everybody's saying out there, you got 2 minutes left, man. We got to drive 92 yards or whatever. And everybody's kind of tense. And what's his name? Harris is an old offensive lineman for them. And
I know you're talking about a guy from Atlanta.
And Montana walks back out, and he's waiting for the TV timeout to end, and everybody's kind of tense once again. And Montana looks up and goes, "Hey, look, there's John Candy."
I was going to guess John Candy.
Why don't you ask us a question and not give us a chance to answer?
Man, my story's 9 minutes long. You could have thrown something out of it.
Robert's locked in.
But no,
I love John Candy.
But the offensive lineman looks at the camera after he goes, "I knew we were going to win at that point." This guy's worried about identifying people in the stands. He's not even watching anything else.
John Candy was awesome. Summer Rental was my favorite John Candy movie.
I'll probably lean towards a little Stripes.
Yeah, Stripes was
gotta
good.
go with Stripes.
I thought you used to wrestle. I used to lose a lot, but these are girls. Come on,
When
John.
they doing the mud wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Who lost their? Who misplaced their helmet once in the big game?
Tom Brady.
Who did that?
It's my boy Thurman Thomas.
Oh,
And the Bills had to start with Davis in, and on that very first play there was a turnover, and it's like one of those things. Your all-pro running back is not in the first play of the Super Bowl, and you've turned the ball over. You couldn't find your helmet.
I forgot about that.
That's
Horrible,
crazy.
horrible.
So hopefully this game that's coming up this Sunday will have some memorable moments. Robert, you talked a little bit earlier. We got a couple of minutes about prop bets. Anything cool that you want to talk about?
Well, I might have a gambling addiction. Might have shared that with you guys. I don't know.
Well, I'd be interested in like over under for A.J. Brown or like Devonta Smith catches.
So, me and my friend, I told him to pick odd or even. He selected even, so he has all of the even bets on this little thing here. But, it's a length of the national anthem. That starts right off the bat. And this year,
What's the over under, like 158?
it's a minute or 120 and a half seconds. So 2 minutes and a half. So is it 2 minutes or under, or is it 2:01 or over?
I'd go with the under.
So I'm going over because it's John Baptiste, and if you do your history, occasionally really talented people might just go off on a tangent, start maybe playing a little music. Maybe
That's true.
So I'm hoping for one of those. But
Don't they do who wins the kickoff?
coin toss, first offensive play. Is it a
Coin toss,
run or a runner? Will there be a first score in the first 7 minutes? Odd or even number to score first, which is always a fun one because you can break that down and start looking at the numbers. I have this bet that I have to make with my buddy, and really every person except for Pacheco and Saquon are odd numbers.
Yeah.
And Brown. So Brown and actually,
No, Devontae Smith's 6.
no, you're correct. That's what I meant to say. Smith, Saquon, and Pacheco are even. Everybody else is an odd number.
26, 6, and 10. Yeah. Kareem Hunt.
87, number 1, number
Kelsey.
11, so
Yeah.
so you think, wow, I should probably go odd because there's more people.
Right.
I'm probably going to go even.
You know, it'd be a fun one if they did. At what time in the game will they first go to a commercial break? I don't know if they do that, but there's so many commercial breaks. Like,
absolutely.
throughout the Super Bowl, it'd be like they set it at like 13 minutes in the first quarter. Or something.
Color of the Gatorade bat. That's a big
Yeah.
standard one nowadays. Number of challenge initiated, total turnovers, total sacks.
Do you remember the first, I think it had to be the Broncos, that the first score of the Super Bowl was a safety?
Oh, the Seahawks, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Seahawks. I wonder what the odds were on that. It had to be like 10,000 to 1 or something like that.
And some guy walked in and just threw down like $5 on it, and he walked away with 10,000.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I need something like that. Anybody out there got any inside scoop?
Yeah, anybody who tells you today, it's kind of like when was it Oh, no. I was thinking it was when I played you, but it was when I played Brett Rittersdorf in the playoffs. And he said, I shouldn't have started, and I can't remember who. Oh, who's the stud for Houston? Wide receiver?
Nico Collins?
Nico. He's like, I guess I shouldn't have started Nico. I'm like, only if you had tomorrow's newspaper. I mean, it's hard to pick these things, and you definitely didn't do anything wrong on that one.
That's funny. All right, well, let's get our American Access commercial out of the way, and then we'll move to Super Bowl 59.
59. I remember this thing came out just before I was born, and it's really painful knowing that we're on number 59 now. Just saying. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable work outing ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access has 3.5 Atlanta locations waiting for you in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, and look them up at American Access, or give us a call at 678-763-3635.
What number can you get a mobile
It's
experience?
the big one on the screen, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of our 3rd year anniversary. I didn't even mention that yet. Me and Larry this is our 3rd year. Robert came in shortly thereafter.
I didn't even know you 3 years ago.
So I'm counting on you. You still
Wait,
count.
Robert wasn't.
I wasn't.
I didn't meet him until March of that year.
Yeah, I was about 5 weeks behind, I think, on the start of this show. I've been at the other show since the beginning.
Yeah, but the show definitely improved when Robert came on. So
I was excited the day you looked at me and go, okay, I got a new idea for the show. Me and you, we just get a third guy every week. I'm like, that's good.
yeah, it's been a fun ride. 3 years is a long time to do this.
It really is.
And again, we don't make any money doing this. We get sponsors and they pay us, but we give all our money to KSU to help support their athletes. That being said, don't forget at 7 o'clock tonight, we do the Owls show right here, also at Miller's Ale House.
Hooty hoo.
If you want to join us, we actually have a ex-basketball coach, Stephen Cox, that's going to be on tonight at 7. And I don't know what Alyssa's got going on over there, but she's got a signed ball of some sort. She must want to come on and talk about that. I don't know.
She's on the show as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. All right. Well, let's look ahead to 59. 1.5 points. Kansas City is favored by at the time of this printing. So
and the line hasn't moved in whatever.
Did it open at 1.5?
11 days strong, holding at this number.
So Vegas is very happy.
Yeah, nobody's gone too crazy one way or the other to make that line jump too much.
Yeah, that's neat. There's so much going on in this game. I kind of want to see the 3-time champs because it's never happened. I want somebody to do it besides Brady if it's going to happen. Too many Georgia Bulldogs on the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't pull for them. I am pulling for Kansas City, and I actually think Kansas City's going to win. Whether it's the officials or what, I think Kansas City's going to pull out a way to win. I think Mahomes is just that good.
Hard to argue. Quickest Chuck has ever given an answer, by the way, just for the record. He likes to hold on to that sucker way till the very last second.
I want to get it out because there's so much to talk about still about this game. You talked about the great running backs of Kansas City. And now they got Kareem Hunt, who came in on my fantasy team and helped me a lot. They got Pacheco. They got Kelsey.
And they love to hand the ball off to Worthy occasionally.
Yeah.
And Worthy's only the fastest guy in the NFL, so you better watch that end around.
Yeah,
and since Hollywood Brown's come back, the offense has played better, even though he was hurt most of the year. He
didn't play until like 12th or 13th.
Who you liking in this game?
So the more this story about the refs favoring the Chiefs gains steam, I lean towards the Chiefs. I lean towards the Chiefs, but
or the refs going to play the other side. Well, we can't favor the Chiefs.
Right,
I thought that would have happened in the AFC Championship
like
game.
That opening night where they have the players on the press conference. You could tell that guys like Kelsey and Mahomes were getting annoyed with the questions. But in spite of that, I'm still going to go with the Eagles. I think their defense is very underrated.
Is that why you're wearing green today?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You got on green too, so.
I hate either team. I was all in on the Bills. I was hoping for a Bills-Lions Super Bowl. That didn't happen, obviously. But I think the Eagles will pull it out. It's going to be very close. But I think their defense is very underrated. And actually, to steal from our bartender, he mentioned this earlier, I think they're going to stack the box and Saquon. And I think Jalen's actually, who looked healthy 2 weeks ago.
He did.
There was some question about that. I think A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are going to have really big games.
So you think Devonta Smith will join that group?
I hope so. Now that we know that he can be the fourth member of that club.
Yeah, and also the first wide receiver to ever catch a touchdown in the Super Bowl, a Heisman Trophy winner receiver.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I'll go Eagles 24-20.
Oh, we were going to give us scores? Yeah,
Hey, it's the third anniversary.
I'm going to go 28-24.
28-24.
28-24.
28-24.
No, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do 31-27 because I want my man Harrison Butker to get a field goal. Go Jackets.
Robert, what is the over-under on this?
Over-under is 48.5.
You know how good I am at over and under.
So basically, what they're telling you with that score is that the final score should be. Well, actually, what was it? They tell me if
Anybody else smell syrup?
I do smell syrup.
I do too.
Somebody's eating waffles around me.
Larry's got his "Oh to Aunt Jemima" on.
Did Larry order chicken and waffles?
As they call it, the implied score, whenever you see the over-under versus the spread, that means what they're implying is that this final score will be KC 25, Philadelphia 23.5.
Yeah.
That's the implied score. I said it 51 weeks ago. You're dumb if you bet against the Chiefs. They keep winning.
Don't call me dumb, Robert.
You are. Don't worry. I'm getting ready to join you. I've been on that side a long time. But you're dumb. Once again, you've seen it. You complain about it. The referees haven't changed the way they're calling the games. Nothing has changed. So, if we start throwing hard-earned money chasing down what we want to happen versus what we think might happen, but yeah, Philadelphia is fun. If Saquon can loosen that defense up, because that Kansas City defense is tough, they're not going to start crowding the box. Saquon's going to have to bust a 50-yarder or a 60-yarder before they bring another safety into that box, because that front seven is so good for Kansas City.
Chris Jones is a beast.
He's amazing, and
McDuffie's a great on the corner. I mean, they got a good defensive squad.
They got a very good team, and then they got an angry runner, as you were talking about, Kareem Hunt. I don't know that anybody runs more angry in the NFL. And if you're talking about Super Bowl, give me a guy for 3 hours. I'll take the guy who one has a chip on his shoulder, two, the rest of the league didn't think they wanted. Kind of like Flacco last year, remember? And then all of a sudden Flacco got a contract this year. Well, guess what? I'm just going out on a limb. I bet Kareem Hunt gets a contract next year. I bet he's not unemployed halfway through the season when somebody else gets hurt. But it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Who is the halftime show? I don't even know. Anybody know?
Oh, it's Kendrick Lamar.
I've never heard of Kendrick Lamar until they mentioned that he was going to be the halftime show. I've heard of him before now, but I don't know who he is. Robert, do you know who Kendrick Lamar is?
I do.
Okay.
I do. You've heard his music, too, in Publix, but not a lot of it.
Yeah, maybe, but
not
no.
Not a lot of
Doesn't
it.
sound familiar.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game. One player that I see one of a couple things. I see a couple potential stars. One of them is Jalen Carter. I think there's a chance that Jalen Carter blows this game up in the first quarter, whether it be pancake sack on Mahomes, where Mahomes has to get scraped off the turf. Legal hit. I'm not talking about anything illegal. I'm just talking about just big guy hitting little guy.
Did you say pancake because we all smell syrup?
I did not, but subliminally, maybe it was there.
Smell it again.
Yeah.
Because I can assure you this game is much different if it's Carson Wentz.
Oh, yeah.
If Carson Wentz comes in for Mahomes, big difference. The other person that I'm just say something about, DeAndre. here's a guy who we thought was going to make a huge difference when he was thrown on the team at the end. And you say, well, what's he going to do? And I personally thought, maybe he'll just be red zone guy. Mahomes will, give him a couple targets a game. He really hasn't done anything. But once again,
he didn't play but a couple of games with Kansas City, right?
He didn't play.
He was
a ton.
on Carolina. He was on Houston. He was everywhere.
That's a good prop bet for if Juju or DeAndre would score a touchdown.
Oh, Juju! I
I
forgot about him. Yeah.
Everybody forgets about Juju because he's Juju, and you got no reason to remember him. I don't know. Don't be surprised if Noah Gray always whenever everybody's covering Kelsey, it always seems like there's another tight end running down the field, and it's either Gray or Watson. So,
Watson's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
But both of them are always big, so we'll see what happens. But I think Jalen Carter could blow this game up real quick in the first quarter and make it fun.
All right. So if Kansas City wins, who's the MVP? And if Philadelphia wins, who's the MVP?
If Kansas City wins, the easy answer is Mahomes, but I'm gonna say Chris Jones.
Okay.
And if Philadelphia wins, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I would have to go with Saquon if Philadelphia wins. He's going to have to bust through the 7 of Detroit, and if he does that, Philadelphia's got a better shot. And it's been a long time since a running back's won an MVP in the Super Bowl. If Kansas City wins, like you said, Mahomes is probably easy. But I'd really like to see somebody like a Worthy win it. Actually, I'd love to see Harrison Butker win it. 2 years ago when he won the game, they didn't even interview him on the stage after the game, and I got so mad because even Mahomes got up there and talked about what a great guy Butker was, and then they didn't even interview him. But so I'd like to see Harrison get a little love. But I'll go with Mahomes or Worthy and Saquon if Philly wins.
And just for the record, since you brought it up, when was the last time a running back won the award?
I'm going to go Emmitt Smith the year they beat the Bills the second time.
I don't think it was that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but it wasn't too far after that.
After that, who do you play for?
He's a dog.
Oh, I read this today too from Denver.
That is
Terrell
correct.
Davis.
That's correct.
Yeah, Terrell Davis.
Never forget that John Elway could win nothing until he had
Terrell Davis,
an incredible running back behind him.
Now, which year did he win the MVP? Was their first or second Super Bowl?
It wasn't against the Falcons. It was the next one they won, I think.
Yes, I believe
Elway won it the year they beat the Falcons in Miami.
It was the first one, correct?
Okay.
Terrell Davis beat the Packers.
Yeah.
31-24, and then Elway rode off into the sunset after his helicopter.
After he beat the Falcons in Miami.
Remember, he did the helicopter at the goal line against the Falcons.
Yeah.
That was his exit.
Yeah. But who was it? Our running back, not running back, it was a linebacker or safety, got in trouble with a woman of ill repute.
Oh, God.
Not only did he win, but what did he win the day before?
Like Man of the Year.
Walter Payton Man of the Year. And then
Something Robinson.
Oh, that's him.
Eugene Robinson.
yeah.
Eugene Robinson.
And have you ever seen a show where the Falcons talk about that one? Because it didn't come out until like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning, the night or the day of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
So everybody's sleeping, and then the text messages start happening. I just lost myself. There we go.
Back.
But yeah, all of a sudden, Eugene. Guess what? Eugene was wild. Did he have his award with him? Good Lord. But Falcons never stood a chance. To me, that play was very similar to when Notre Dame played Alabama, and about 4 days before the game, we figured out that Monte Te'o had a male, a 50-year-old guy was posing as his girlfriend online. Yeah. It was like, they don't stand a chance. Same thing, when the Falcons woke up, and it's like, your man of the year was out all night.
So, Robert, we didn't even get who did you say you're going to win the game? And if Kansas City wins, who's the MVP? And if Philadelphia wins, who's the MVP?
Eagles are going to win this game 31-17.
Wow.
And Saquon will win the MVP, but he will be very close to Jalen Carter. And I'm not going to pick Patrick Mahomes when they win because that's not going to happen. Dang it. They're not going to win.
So
this
you're not
time.
even going to pick a Chiefs.
Well, I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes
Oh,
if they
okay.
win. If they win,
All right.
or if you want to, who's the head linesman or the umpire?
It's not Ron Tolbert or whatever his name is. They said who the thing's
Yeah.
going to be.
Find the prop bets on the referees.
They've already called a permanent foul on who we played, the Eagles.
Yeah.
Before the game.
Eagles
even
are starting
starts
off first and 25.
yet.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
It's mind-boggling.
so we'll see what happens.
Did you see who is already the leader in the clubhouse for who's going to win the Heisman next year?
No.
Vegas has already got the odds out.
Who is it?
Arch Manning.
You got
Arch
it.
Manning.
Arch Manning is already number one in the clubhouse.
Well, you notice we didn't have our bobblehead out today because we didn't have any picks last week, but we will have our final bobblehead of the week next week because Robert's got Philadelphia and I've got Kansas City, so we will be down to that.
But since there was no bets last week, shouldn't whoever won the week before still be?
That would be Chuck.
No, we were 0-0, and I had the closest number.
Robert had the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Right.
Yeah, I was
My
so
face
good
has
on
been
that.
on that sucker for a while.
Well,
just show
you know,
we'll just show it to our guest.
Has Mike not seen that?
No, I don't.
Our little bobblehead.
That's awesome.
Whoever wins the week's bets before gets to go in the
But that's
bobblehead.
not you in there now.
Why is his face in there?
I have no idea. He must have done it.
He did it.
All right.
That dang Adam. He doesn't even
on
show up.
on
and
next
he's doing
week's show, if Philly does win 24-20, can I get a shout out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to give you a shout out and make fun of everything you said anyway.
Absolutely. So, Michael, we appreciate you coming back on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for
Robert,
having me.
great show. Larry, another good show.
Go Eagles.
3 years in the books. It's been a great time. Guys, don't forget to know your numbers out there. Cover your ass. Get your prostate checked. We'll see you next week on Three Guys Who Love Sports. That was fun. See how I missed
Three
that?
guys who love the Owls.
You're all
I love
over the show
Owls.
tonight.
It's the Owl Show right here from Miller's Ale House on a wonderful Wednesday night.
Hootie hoo.
We got a hootie hoo full crowd tonight. It's a nice night. My name is Chuck Burge, along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney. Robert, how are you?
I was off, gallivanting around with all of our guests.
Signing autographs and stuff
No,
like that.
as it turns out, all of our guests did not ask for my autograph.
Not one of them, huh?
They
Can I
know
get
me.
your-
They know me well enough.
Can
You know
I
it
get your
doesn't mean
autograph?
Actually, just for the record, I
Yes.
have your autograph.
You do?
I do, and I saved it.
Hey, I got to ask you something real quick before we move on to
Yeah.
this show. Kind of a feedback to our 5 o'clock show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new commercial for this year's Super Bowl with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan?
I've not.
Reenacting their scene at
From
I'll
the-
have what
from the
she's
diner?
having.
I love that
it is
scene.
Hilarious.
I love that movie. That's
the
one of,
movie's really,
that is
really
one
good.
of my favorite movies.
What delicatessen is that in New York? It's the famous one.
Cats.
Huh?
Cats.
Cat.
No,
Yeah.
that's the movie with the strange people.
No,
where
that's
they,
K-A. That's
It's
your C-A. This one is
It's
K-A-T-Z.
a Cat's Deli. It's a famous
You
deli.
can see
in
it
New
already
York.
on
And,
YouTube.
and who was the famous woman who uttered that?
It was Travolta's mom or somebody's mom.
couldn't tell you.
It was Rob Reiner's. It was Reiner's wife.
Oh, Rob Reiner's wife.
So
Yeah.
Meathead's mom and but yeah, how awesome is that?
Carl Reiner's
Carl Reiner's wife. Carl Reiner's wife.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, go check out that commercial. It's really, really good.
And the autograph that I hold
Yes.
is when you paid your $100 dues of fantasy football. You wrote me a check.
I did
And I was
write
like,
you a check.
just in case you ever become famous, I'm going to have a $100 filed check. So I saved it.
All right, well, let's get on with the Owl Show because lots going on with the Owls.
Tons going on in this
we've
place.
got it's a favorite fans night here at Miller's Ale House. We got 3 people that are going to be on: Garrett Brackett, Will Renfro, and Carrick Martin.
Would you say the 3 people who've been on the show the most?
On this show, probably so.
I mean, I'm here every week, so
Every
don't
week
count.
seems to
So are
be
we.
kind of a
I
push.
don't count. Y'all are mean.
All right, let's get our first commercial out of the way. If we could do a Ron Smith commercial as Robert pulls it up. Welcome to Miller's Ale House.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact our friend Ron and his team at 440-561-0758.
I'm
What was
between
that
1 and
number?
85. Where do I call?
That big one on the screen, 440-561-0758.
And thank you, Ron Smith, for being a sponsor of the Owls Show, the Owls Who Love Sports, right here at Miller's Ale House every Wednesday night. And with us to give us a recap of what's happening at KSU this week is Mr. Adam Crooks.
Thank you. There were a lot of sports that took place this week. We had spring is in full swing. We had basketball. We had golf. We had tennis. We were supposed to have lacrosse. Lacrosse didn't happen. Starting on Thursday, the men's and women's basketball teams took on Liberty. The women traveled to Lynchburg, Virginia. The men played at home. Both took
The Big L.
both took the big L. Yes.
One L was way better looking than the other L.
Yes.
Yes, it was. I was at the men's game. The refs were completely blind. I don't know how they even saw the road on the way home.
Hopefully
it was
they
tragic.
Ubered.
I hope they Ubered
We got
too. It was-
whooped. Bad refs or good refs. We got whooped.
It was tragic. The track team split time between the Bob Pollock Invitational and the
Clemson invitation.
yes, the Bob Pollock Invitational at Clemson and the John Thomas Terrier Classic up in Boston, Massachusetts.
I should have told Chip. Chip could have gone by once.
The Terrier Classic up there in Boston, eh?
He
Yes.
parked his car in the yard.
Well, you're from Southie there. Hey, come over here, Sizzle Chest.
I don't even want to know about it.
So we had some great. We had some people won. I know Simon said set a record or something at the track meet.
Yes. I think Callie was competing. I don't know if she won. But they split up the entire team. Plenty of guys guys and girls that did very well in Clemson and Boston. Those were both 2-day meets at Clemson. The Bob Pollock invite then continued on to Sunday. Women's lacrosse was supposed to play East Carolina on Sunday. Had some weather issues. Game didn't end up getting played. But men's and women's basketball took on FIU. The women's team fell to FIU. The men's team got the victory, won by 6, 73-67 in Kennesaw. The women continue their road stretch this week. They play on the road Thursday and Saturday. The men play at home this week. They've got some great games up again. Adrian Woolley got his 7th Conference USA Freshman of the Week award. So our men's team has some pretty good players on it.
They really do.
Simeon Connell hit 1,000 points for his career.
Yes, he did. He did. The women's tennis team took on Georgia Southern in Kennesaw at home at the Betty Siegel courts on Sunday.
Couldn't be a loser at that one.
The Owls took home the doubles point. Isabella Pearson took home her singles match, and Sophia Unger, Shay Nell, Sophia Madrid all fell in 2 sets, and then we had one more. I think it was Emma Barkniakova also fell in 2 sets in their singles matches. So. We fell 5-2 to the Eagles, but their next home match, February 16th, they take on South Carolina. So big match against South Carolina.
Huge. But isn't it fun knowing that almost every matchup that we have is either a couple Davids or David versus Goliath?
Yes.
Everything is, well, who you playing? Well, we're going against another massive school. So, I love it. It's nowhere but up for all these programs.
Yeah. So women's tennis goes to, I believe they're technically they're 1-1 on the year, although I believe their record is actually 2-1 on the, or 1-2 on the year. They didn't travel to Stetson, and I think that was a forfeit at Stetson, even though those matches weren't played. Women's golf went down to Boca Raton, Florida, the FAU invite.
Rat's mouth.
Yes, finished 14th. We had some people play well, but as a team, we've got a little bit of work to do this spring.
Well, at that exact same tournament, former guest on the show and always friend of the show, Nia Kelly, won the very first Conference USA Golfer of the Week award for the school.
Yes, she did.
So, kudos to Nia.
Yes. Men's golf went down to the Seabest Invitational. That's played at a course adjacent to where they play the Players. It's on the TPC Sawgrass property. The men finished 6th.
I'm guessing that all golf courses on that piece of property are probably pretty difficult.
Yes. Yes.
I don't think that's like the putt-putt version of that property.
Yes. So we have this week, we have men's and women's basketball take on Western Kentucky tomorrow, the Hilltoppers.
The Red Blobs.
The men play at home at 7. The women play at Western Kentucky at 7:30. Friday is the start of softball. Northwestern and Iowa is who softball is playing on Friday down in Clearwater, Florida. You can watch that game not on ESPN Plus. It's on Game Changers.
Game Changers.
Yes, so you can. We've got a whole tournament down in Clearwater. We take on Northwestern Iowa on Friday. We take on Penn State and Pittsburgh on Saturday, and then we finish out with Texas Tech on Sunday. So a ton of Power 5 competition for softball. A great way to start their year.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So when do they come back up here and you start calling some games?
It's funny you mentioned that. They come back. They come back up to town on Wednesday to take on the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. I will be on that call for that game. ESPN Plus. So if you're in the area, come out to KSU softball against Georgia Tech. Tickets are free. So free entry. It's going to be a great show.
This is kind of one of those questions like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does it make a sound?
Yes.
But if tickets are free, are there actually tickets?
No.
Just throwing that out there.
But you can come watch some amazing softball.
Oh, absolutely. After meeting those two girls last week, I have high hopes for the season.
Maddie and Emma.
Yes, and I went out to practice today. They looked really good. A lot of contact hits today. I think that was kind of the focus of today. They were working on rise balls and some sinkers.
Right. Well, hypothetically, somebody's going to throw it right down the middle, and you're going to swing with everything you've got.
Yes.
But knowing when you get into one of these games with much tougher competition, girls got the pitcher on the other in the other dugout is just smoking, and you have to practice the slap hits
Yes,
and the
you
bunts
do.
and everything else so that you're ready for those games when they happen. So.
Well, to give a little bit more love to our track team, because Adam just mentioned that they had some record breakers there, and he failed to mention.
What?
Edwin Caprano won the 800 meters with a time of 1:51:33 in the 800 meters at the John Thomas Classic in Boston. Record breaker Kennedy Singleton.
Easy for you to say.
Ran a time of 7:44. Also, I think that's in Boston. Or was that in?
That was
Clemson.
in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both those were in Boston.
Yeah, and then there was one other one, track and field from Clemson. Simon Side also won the pole vault event at Clemson with a 5.02 meters, 16.5 inches to win the pole vault at Clemson opener. We'd like to congratulate all these individual players. Simon's been on the show before, and I'm sure we're going to get these other people on. Thanks
Absolutely.
to Coach Kell.
I would assume so. Coach Kale's brought he's brought a lot of really good guests on the show.
At least half the team.
Including
Yes.
himself.
Yes. But to get back to that softball discussion, I don't want to give anything away, but we have a transfer from Utah named Lexi Shaver. She's got a ton of power.
Lexi Shaver.
I saw her knock more than
Thinking
one.
of Lexi Tinker.
I was thinking, man, I think we've met her. But,
Lexi Tinker is who we've met.
I saw her knock more than one ball today over the fence in batting practice.
So we just need
doesn't
base
count in
runners.
batting practice.
Well, but you got to have base runners on in the game.
Yes.
So hopefully we
Yes.
get some fish on the pond before she gets up.
Some ducks on the pond.
All of that.
We have lacrosse has a doubleheader this weekend. They travel to Tampa to take on South Florida on Friday, and then they travel to Gainesville to take on the University of Florida in Gainesville. The women's lacrosse team's
I'm going
hoping
to key your car if you do that anymore in front of me.
they're hoping to
What,
chomp
clap?
some gators.
You weren't chomping, or you weren't clapping. You were chomping.
I was Gatoring.
I was gatoring.
The men's the men's golf team heads down to Puerto Rico this weekend
Ay, caramba.
to play in the Palmas del Mar Collegiate.
Worst places to go to play golf.
Yeah, so where'd you go? I went Bahamas Bowl. Where's the golf tournament? Oh, Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's not a bad gig.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not done. I still got tennis to talk about.
Well, please talk about
Talk
tennis
about it.
and quit talking about what all you're going to call.
I'm not talking about what I'm going to call. I only talked about it because Robert asked me what I was calling.
Set up.
Moving on.
Women's tennis takes on South Alabama in Mobile this weekend. Men's tennis takes on Samford in Birmingham this weekend.
Everybody going to Bama.
Yes, we love a good trip to Bama. I believe the track team's going to Bama a little bit later this year. So we've got some very exciting teams playing some exciting colleges coming up.
Lots of big
And
games.
speaking
Yes.
of things coming up, they had the first pitch banquet on Friday night, and we're going to get to a commercial and then get Garrett Brackett on the show to talk to us about the banquet.
Bracket.
Oh, we got 2 commercials. Go ahead, Rob.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury law, and he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
In Dalton, that is.
706-217-2095.
And there are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area. But if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol, Kennesaw Express Lube, or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol Products.
Look at Garrett jumping in, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Garrett Brackett.
How are you, sir?
Listen to that crowd. They love you. They love you here, Garrett.
It's deafening.
It is definitely.
So I wanted to get to go to the banquet Friday night. I had an opportunity, but couldn't make it. Tell us about the first pitch banquet.
What do you want to know?
What was it?
Well, we weren't there, so tell us all
for
about
lacrosse?
it. No, for baseball.
I knew what it was. I'm trying to lead him into talking.
It was for baseball, and I was going alone, and then suddenly 2 tickets came available for my boys. And
Oh, he's pulling something out.
oh yeah. See, it's funny that you asked me. for
Excuse
this.
me while I whip this
So,
out.
it's funny that you
I love
asked
that
me.
movie.
You asked me to come on the show today, because who is that?
Oh, that's my man. That's my man.
That's Larry.
Is Brian Jordan.
BJ.
Oh.
Yeah.
As I used to call him sweet as taboo, but that's a weird thing. I won't talk about that anymore right now.
Yeah,
And,
please don't.
I will say.
Like a holograph card.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They gave those out, and you went up and, my kids get a great, they got a picture with him, even though they have no idea who he is.
He was supposed to be on the show and bailed on us.
Uh-oh.
No, don't worry. He's still a
Give me
friend
the
of the show.
card back.
He's still a friend of the show.
He's still a friend of the show. Or the show's still a friend of him. Yeah.
So, you walk in and all the baseball players are lined up like you're the biggest superstar in the world. And I went from shaking hands to pumping fists because it just got tiring after I got halfway through the roster.
And that's a real thing. A lot of people don't like to bump fists. They miss the shaking of the
Right,
hands.
right.
But if you got to go down a whole line of people, man, this is a lot easier. You can just
Right.
kind of do it.
Right. And I said, I'm sorry, guys, but, I just got to, at some point in time, got to get through this line.
What happened to just holding your hand up and everybody high-fiving as you go along?
That next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Just running down the line.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
So
Like a
it was a
dominoes
great
falling.
great experience.
Oh, it's always a great experience.
Who was? Brian Jordan was the speaker, wasn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What did he say that has stuck with you? Or are you too busy eating?
I'm still digesting a lot of it because I always joke around when I speak with Terrence. He's the general manager of the team. I say every time I leave these first pitch dinners, it's like I just came out of church.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every person that they get there has are Christian for the most part, and they like to talk about how that relationship has shaped their lives. So, spirituality played a big part in his life, and he shared that, and he shared what he's doing, and I just love that he's still completely invested in the community.
And what is Brian Jordan's role with KSU?
That's a trick question. I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
Do you know?
We'll find out from Carrick. Carrick will know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go there.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know that.
No, it's
off the
okay.
top of my head.
Way to go, Garrett.
I think he was involved
At least
with
I
NIL,
was honest,
wasn't
right?
he?
What's that?
I thought he was involved with the NIL originally.
Yes,
when
I'm sorry. Yes, he's part of the Owls Collective.
Owls Collective.
In fact,
that's
it's
what
funny
it is.
because I said, you look really familiar. And he goes, you mean? I was like, no.
Do you
no,
mean
not.
because I am a stud?
And I said, no, not from sports. Not from sports. I said, because I came to Atlanta 17 years ago, and I really didn't get into that very much in the beginning. But I saw him at the Owls Collective opening meeting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you're from the Owls Collective? He goes, yeah, I am. And I'm like, oh. They're like, you want your picture with him? I'm like, nah, I'm more about relationships, not photos.
Well, to follow up on, there was a very funny story about what happened at the basketball game last Thursday. Robert, you want to tell him, or you want me to? This was really funny.
So Garrett was kind enough to take Chuck and I to the basketball game last Thursday against Liberty, and we're up eating the bougie food before the game, and then about 5 minutes before, it was Copeland's. It was
Yep.
great food.
Thank you, Jason Watson.
Absolutely, thank you. And so we, everybody goes down to get in their seats, and I'm getting ready to, and I look over, and there's this 6'8" guy eating by himself over the corner. And I'm like, maybe the rest of these people don't know who that is, but I know who I know who that guy is. So I go over, and it's Steve Smith, Michigan State standout, former Atlanta Hawk, and played with a lot of different teams. So I would just walk over at him. I was like, you're the man. I was like, you mind if we get a picture? And he's like, no, not at all. So he took a picture, and then a second later, Chuck just kind of walks in. He's like, hey, let me get a picture with you too. So Chuck takes a picture with him, and then Chuck and I are walking out of the room to go down to our seats, and Chuck looks at me and he goes, who'd I just take a picture with? I'm like, good grief, Charlie Brown.
I knew the face. I didn't know who it was.
It was really funny, but he was very nice, very approachable. I know he sat later
Very nice
courtside
guy.
with Carrick and saw some of those pictures. But yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, I've told that story a bunch this week. That was a funny story.
So, like I said, I'm a relationship guy, not a picture guy.
I can understand.
And I'm not saying that Chuck's not, because he's very much into relationships. But
Absolutely.
they don't mean anything to me. They're just going to end up sitting on my phone for the next 10 years. So,
yeah.
I love pictures like that because I'm not smart enough to know that, you weigh 300 pounds and you're an MMA guy. I still look at you and I'm like, yeah, I think I can take him. And, I see somebody like Smitty over there and I'm thinking, yeah, he's big, but he's not that big. And then I look at the picture of the two of us. I was like, oh, no, he's really big. You are very
He's a
small.
very,
he's
very tall guy.
big.
Yeah,
But,
and we were at the game when Carrick texted us the picture, right? He said, oh, look, I'm sitting next to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I sent him back and said, yeah, we met him up at the thing. Yeah, that was cool. That was a fun moment. So at the baseball banquet, did they give any prognostication about the team or where they are and what they think is going to happen this year?
yeah, they interviewed four of the baseball players. Nolan Alexander did. And so Nate was one of them. I'm going to forget the other three right now, but Nate was one of them, and he kind of led the group. And they're excited about this year. Got a lot of returning talent. They've got a good perspective about this upcoming year. They're excited about playing in Marietta, in spite of the stadium being a little bit delayed, new stadium.
Still will.
Yep, which will now be Mickey Dunn Stadium. And they're looking forward to it. I mean, it sounds like they're excited about the season, and they're excited about playing a couple of teams, the harder teams in the beginning of the season, pre-conference, and getting on the road and taking some flights, which they didn't take a lot of in the past.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's a Conference USA thing, right?
Right,
Yeah, no,
right.
Conference. Well, Robert showed us something earlier in the night about the baseball team,
What'd I do?
about being one of the first four out.
Correct. Carrick sent that to us earlier today, and there was a preseason poll. Almost there. Here we go. Projected field of 64 by Baseball America for the season, and it has the first four out are Auburn, Illinois, Louisiana, and KSU. So, I don't. It's like a preseason poll in football 3 months before they start playing. Those
Right.
polls are never right, but it's nice to think that we're in the same sentence as
Right.
Auburn and Illinois at this point.
Right.
So that's good.
Right.
Yep.
As long as it's for good reasons.
Absolutely. And Brian Jordan. And for those at home who still aren't sure who was there, there's only a couple people who have played Major League Baseball and football in the last 50 years.
Right.
One's
Jordan's
name
one
is
of them.
there's Bo Jackson.
Right.
You know him. There's Deion Sanders.
Which is right
you
behind
know
you.
him.
Right.
And the only other guy is Brian Jordan.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive stuff.
And it's funny, you asked me one of the
More than pretty
One of the
impressive.
memorable moments was someone asked the question, do you think anyone in this day and age can do what Sanders and you have done and Jackson? And he said, probably not. Not the way things are currently aligned.
Did he give any reasoning for that, or just?
I got a reason.
What do you think?
Contracts.
Well,
When you sign a big contract with a baseball team, they didn't want you playing football, and the football
Right.
team wants you to focus on football, not a little bit of
Right.
baseball as well.
Yeah, and he said, and also the sports are the guys are stronger, they're bigger,
That's true.
they're more
focused.
more focused to their individual sport. So it's not like they couldn't. It's not that they couldn't do it. It's that their competition for those particular sports. If you try to do baseball
Sure.
and football, they're very specialized now. And someone said, "Well, why do you think that is?" And he goes, "McDonald's. They're eating McDonald's all the time." No, he said, "No, it's nutrition. Nutrition is one of the." He said, someone asked, "Well, what if you could tell your 17-year-old self something now? What would it be?" And he said, "To feed myself better and focus on nutrition, long term."
And just out
awesome.
of curiosity, since I think that's a very interesting thing to ask, what would you tell your 17-year-old self?
Nutrition.
Nutrition?
Yeah.
How about you, Chuck?
Taking care of my body. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had any problems. I wasn't big until I got, I shot up an inch and put on 30 pounds my first 3 months out of high school. So that's kind of when. So when I was 17, I weighed 155 pounds. It was 5'11" and
Right.
155, and starting center on the basketball team. That's you don't see that anymore.
No.
But it's crazy. I probably the same thing. I probably take better care of my body.
Right.
Yeah. Mine would be to stretch. I'm not limber enough, and I believe if I could stretch more, a lot of my issues would go way down.
That's what I tell myself now, and partly because of you, because you're telling me about because
Yeah.
we're having the same trouble with
Absolutely.
our backs.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like there's an opportunity here to reach out to a particular organization that does exactly that thing. Maybe they could sponsor the show. You never know. Free stretches at.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm all for at Whataburger. That's it.
I am not.
Miller's
they're
Ale.
stretching
I am-
at Whataburger.
I am not-
Stretches at Miller's Ale
I am not
House.
laying on a
I
table at any other restaurant but this one.
I don't think
Absolutely.
it counts to do this. This isn't stretching.
12-ounce curls. I've known people who've been
Club
doing
soda
those for
curls.
years.
Except for that one burger that Miller's had with the Cole LaRue and William
Oh,
Renfro
yeah.
competition. That thing weighed about 20 pounds.
That was a monster.
So that was a monster.
That was a
burger.
monster.
Yeah, I think that weighed more than the Vince Lombardi trophy.
How much does Vince Lombardi's trophy weigh?
Really? It's going to be like that tonight?
Well,
we
we had it on
already
the, we
had
had
it
it on the
on the
5
show.
o'clock
The answer?
show. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's not fair.
We had a Super Bowl question earlier.
Super Bowl trivia
I'm going to
question.
guess and say 12 pounds.
You're closer than I would have been. 7.
Only 7 pounds.
7 pounds.
You
It's
know,
pretty light.
like our guest from the first show, Mike Palmquist said. When you see people holding up the Stanley Cup, it looks
a
like they're going to
struggle.
fall over.
Yeah.
So
Even with skating with it, it's going to fall over. Yeah.
Lombardi, 7
Yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, one
I
hand.
wonder how big the how much the Stanley one cost.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to find
We'll
that
find
one
out
out.
for our
Adam will
next
find
show. Yeah. All right.
I might.
Cool. All right. Well, that was a great recap, Garrett,
Good.
of the thing. We always appreciate you being on. Appreciate you being here.
What are you
most weeks?
What are you looking forward to most this year for KSU?
This year?
This year.
The spring.
Wow, we're already.
Yeah, we'll go to the spring. We'll keep football out of it.
Oh, you could say the spring game.
You could.
I am most looking forward to baseball starting, and
It's in the near future, isn't it?
it's next Friday.
Yeah.
On Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Playing Rutgers.
Yes. And we're going to do to Rutgers what we did to them in basketball.
I hope we don't score that many runs.
And you
That would be funny.
you did bring up earlier that everybody was looking forward to playing at the new
Yes.
stadium for the season.
Yeah.
I think things like that probably disrupt the road team a little more. We're going to be used to it.
Right.
Once the new stadium is built a year from now, these road teams are going to come in. They're going to stay at a bougie hotel right here on Chastain Road. They're going to go to a bougie. I do love that word. And right now they're going to be flying in, and they're going to take a bus to South Marietta. They're going to be like, where are we going? What is this? So hopefully that works out for us.
And one of the things that the baseball team told me is they had to get out there to practice under the lights. And I'm like, what do you mean practice under the lights? They're like, night lights are different at every place.
Oh,
Correct.
absolutely.
And you can lose the ball very easily at night if you're not used to the field. And I went, that's interesting. So we've had that experience too, because the lighting's different now.
And at an older stadium, it'd be interesting to see. And I never really thought about that. But if you go to a newer stadium, the old lights used to all be lined up perfectly, and they were all pointed in the same direction.
Yes.
If you go to a new stadium now, one's tilted a hair this way, one's tilted a hair this way. So it's something that helps with shadows.
You
I'm
think
quite certain.
about the first night game that we played at Wrigley. How wild that must have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a weird trivia question on a completely different tangent. Whenever you hear the question, what was the last baseball team to have lights? No, it's not the Cubs, because the Cubs actually bought lights in the 30s. They just never put them up or used them.
Yeah.
But
That's wild.
And just for the record, the Stanley Cup weighs 34.5 pounds. Wow. So it's 5 times the weight of the Vince Lombardi.
On
skates.
On skates.
So now you know why they do that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, buddy.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you getting
Hooty
on. Hooty hoo to you.
Hooty hoo, sir.
Let's get
Brain Train?
get Brain Train on and get Carrick on with us. Yeah.
Hey, it's Melissa again with Brain Train Centers. Did you know March is Brain Injury Awareness Month? At Brain Train Centers, we are dedicated to helping anyone who has suffered from a concussion or brain injury. You may not even realize you have been affected by a brain injury because maybe you didn't hit your head. You can injure your brain from a jolt, a fall, or even whiplash. Some symptoms you may experience are memory decline, focus issues, or even bad moods. We could help you heal your brain. All you have to do is come in for a brain assessment at one of our locations, and you could see how your brain is functioning. This is your first step to taking back control of your brain's health. Just give us a call or text us at 470-291-2778, or for more information, visit braintraincentersinc.com.
What's Adam
As long as I'm not the only one.
You're live.
What's Adam
You're
complaining
back
about
live.
now?
We're live.
Back live.
Welcome back. And thank you, Megan and Melissa, for being sponsors of the Owl Tournament. And we now bring on Carrick Martin, better known as Maynard G. Krebs. How are you, Carrick?
Have you ever met anybody with more owl swag in his bag? I mean, the guy like falls asleep thinking about something, and the next day, what happens? He gets some hats.
Did you
made.
create the Mac Attack hat? Or?
I did. Dogwood Golf Club was kind enough to do it.
Yeah,
So
baby.
we
I
can
heard
do all
Dogwood being
sorts of-
talking on the golf show on Sunday morning on
Yeah.
680 Fan.
Yeah, Brian Katrick
Yeah,
and
JR was on there?
Adam.
I produced that show.
Yeah.
So,
I heard your name on there a couple
That's my
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. It's your show?
That's my
yes,
show.
he does.
They wouldn't
he does,
be on the air without me.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm sure that's
he
true.
is. He is. Not that Brian Katrick has,
Any experience.
any experience, and is listened to by millions of people on every weekend afternoon with Afternoon Drive. But
Yeah.
on Sirius XM Radio.
Are you serious?
The PGA Golf Tournament.
Are you serious?
PGA Tour channel, right?
PGA Tour.
All
good
right.
stuff.
Sirius
So
XM.
we're only a month or so away from the spring game.
April 5th, 11 in the morning, so you
Yep.
can make those dinner reservations.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Does that
Can't
that
wait.
seems early? Do they always play in April? Would seem
I
like
don't
it's
know.
normally May
No, I
or
think it's
something.
usually
They
April.
usually,
Okay.
yeah, they try to get it away from final exams, which are the 1st of May.
Yeah. So, Robert and I were talking a little bit on
Well,
the first show.
it's important that our players do pass the final exams. It's unlike schools like Mercer where they don't have to.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing good
Or
come
Georgia.
out of Macon since the Allman Brothers.
That's true.
Hey, but before we forget this, I apologize to, Shannon Sikorsky, right?
The barber shop owner in Kennesaw.
Yeah. So she told me that there's a KSU policeman or something that they are honoring with helping one guy this month.
I believe he's a fireman.
He's a KSU fireman, right?
Well, KSU doesn't have a fire department. Are you talking about?
Robert Milam. He's a
Yeah.
20-year-old
Yes.
plus veteran of the Kennesaw State University
Yeah,
Police
his
Department.
house burned down,
So, a
and he was
catastrophic
burned
loss.
in that. So, but he is back at work. I texted one of the policemen today.
Yeah, but she said they are having trouble with people supporting him, and I told her that I would mention that on the show.
Yes, there was a GoFundMe. So.
Yep.
And in case anybody out there doesn't know what Helping One Guy is, it stands for HOG, or HOG stands for Helping One Guy.
Yeah.
And instead of donating to the masses, they pick one person who has exemplary behavior and a pillar in the community and all that stuff, who has had something big happen to them, and they do a big fundraiser just for that person. So it's a very nice thing.
Basically, Lieutenant Robert Milam, who was a 20-year plus veteran in the KSU Police Department, suffered a catastrophic loss on December 5th. His family residence caught fire and was destroyed. Everything that he and his family was lost when this occurred. Lieutenant Milam suffered severe burns, getting his family out of the house. He was rushed to a burn center and underwent several surgeries. Robbie and his family faced a lengthy recovery, and as you can imagine, this will be a very stressful time for them financially. So if you want to reach out to Helping One Guy and help Mr. Milam out, and Shannon, I did what I told you I would do.
Helping an owl out.
Yes,
She cut my hair this morning.
I can tell, man. You're a good-looking guy.
Your
No,
ears got lowered considerably.
She always makes me want to face the mirror. I said, please don't make me look at
Have
that
you ever
again.
watched Curse of Oak Island
Yes.
on the History Channel?
Yes.
I don't watch History Channel.
There's a guy on that show, Dr. Ian Spooner.
Okay.
I promise you, is a Chuck Burge lookalike.
So,
And he's on TV? That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
I've actually talked about that before on the same show, but I couldn't remember that it was called
Curse of Oak Island.
Curse of Oak Island. That's the one where
Dr. Ian
they think
Spooner.
the
I'm a
pirates,
Spooner.
the pirates dug a 80-foot hole to bury the money in, but every time they dig down, it fills with water. And they can't
Yeah. Yeah.
We lost Robert again.
Yeah.
come down.
It's the Curse of Oak Island got you.
There you go. They didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's the problem I'd say we need to fix, Larry. Try the thing on your end, Robert. The wire on your end.
Hello.
You're there. You're back.
yeah.
No. Maybe. There it is.
I can hear you. All right, so Carrick, some good things happening with football. Robert and I were talking on the first show, or was it with just Mike? I can't remember, about how great everything's looking at KSU in terms of football.
Well, today was NLI Day, not NIL. NIL, name, image, and likeness. This was National Letter of Intent Day, NLI. So we signed an additional 13 players, bringing us to a total of 33 players total.
Wow.
The 33 signees, including 15 high school players, seniors, and 18 college transfers from the portal.
Yeah.
So
There was a Jeremiah something.
we have lots of guys.
I saw a
Yeah.
Facebook video where Coach Mack was talking about.
Jeremiah Solomon
That's
from
the one.
Montezuma, Georgia.
Yeah.
Macon County High School.
Yeah, there's Jace Cora that we signed, a wide receiver from Naples, Florida. I'll bring him up. Can run a top speed of 22 miles an hour.
And how does that compare to everybody else in this class?
There's another player from Northcross High School. Let me find his name. That can run 20 miles an hour, and I don't believe anybody else is anywhere close.
Right, but
So-
you sent me that thing earlier, and
That's one of the top times
Jeremiah
national.
Harold? Is that it?
yeah,
Yes. Yep.
our guy is the third fastest guy, right?
No, he's number
Cora,
one.
Cora's number one.
Jamari
Cora's number
Harold is.
No, the runs 20.61, but
26.
Jace Cora runs 22 plus.
Wow.
So
one. Speed.
speed.
And Robert made a great post, a comment, says you can't coach speed.
That's right.
Can't
Yeah.
coach. Can't
That's
coach
right.
height. Can't coach speed. You can do a
So-
little bit if you got it, though.
Well, you know, we got two quarterbacks from the portal and one from a high school. Amari Odom, who was on this show a couple weeks ago, transferred here from Wofford.
Fantastic
And,
guy. Yeah.
Then we got a
Dexter Williams the second.
Dexter Williams II from that other school down south that we won't play us anymore.
Well,
Georgia
but
Southern?
I didn't realize at first who Dexter Williams was because everybody
Yeah.
kept saying the Southern quarterback. And I went to school with Jimmy French. Shout out Jimmy French. And his son is the starting quarterback there. But this particular gentleman, Dexter Williams II, was the quarterback, I believe, at Indiana.
Yes, and-
Before the coach came in, so he got out, But this is a big time quarterback. This is a
Yes,
Power
it is.
5, top 65 team quarterback
Yes.
kind of guy. So that's
Yes.
huge.
And for some reason, he wasn't happy at Georgia Southern, and he came here. So we're very happy about that.
6'1", 210.
Yep. And
A little bit smaller
course-
than Omari.
Yes, he was.
yeah, who's 6'5", 205.
Yep.
We signed some very big offensive linemen. Zamario Woodgett from Campbell High School, Maria, 6'6", Smyrna.
Actually, Smyrna.
Smyrna, 6'5", 280.
Well, they're not the Panthers anymore. There's some Spartans now.
Yeah.
But back in mine and Carrick's day, they were.
Jadarius Lee, offensive lineman, 6'4", 287 out
Yeah.
of FIU.
Yeah, Josiah Chenault, who was also on the show, 6'3",
Big old boy.
300.
Yeah.
Jadarius, I think you just said Jadarius. My favorite one is Nikola Milakovic,
Oh, yeah.
offensive lineman from Inja, Serbia.
Wow.
Who is 6'6", 315.
From USF.
Yeah, and then we have another young man on the team that came to us and redshirted this year. Is from the NFL Academy in Germany.
Wow.
So he's a Ben Schwarberger or something like that. He's a big old boy.
How about
6'7", 325, I think.
Yes.
I know he's 6'7". I don't
He's
know his
huge.
weight down to
He's
the decimal.
huge.
There's a kid named Haston Crawford out of Tuscaloosa,
Yeah.
offensive lineman, 6'6", 300.
Yep. He just
Sounds
signed.
good to me.
We signed a
You know,
punter.
if your
from,
Legos are bigger, you can build bigger things.
yes.
Absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
going out on a limb.
Even Coach Bohannon was he said, lineman is where you start when you get to Conference USA. You've got to have bigger linemen.
Yes.
And obviously Coach Mack has made has taken that to heart, and he's going out recruiting these big linemen, which, again, his ties to Jacksonville and his ties to University of Tennessee has got to give us a leg up. And that's why I think we've got such a good shot of drastically improving
Yes.
this year.
And speaking of a leg up, we signed a punter from Canberra, Australia. So
There
we
are-
have an Australian punter now.
Matthew Choles.
Yes.
There are a lot of Australian punters now in the college game.
Which,
Yes.
just for the record, growing up, Mike Ditka, we make fun of kickers. That's what
Yes.
we do in this world, whether you're a kicker or a punter. The kicker we just got from Canberra is 6'3", 225.
Yes.
So,
Big old boy.
Yeah. If we don't cover the punt well, there's a chance he's waiting at the end of the end of the rope.
It's like the guy at Georgia. I don't remember his name, but he went and whopped somebody on a punt return here recently. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, we also hired a guy from the town of, signed a guy, a defensive lineman, Roderick Daniels from Horn Lake, Mississippi. That sounds like a fun place.
That's up north towards Tupelo, I think.
Is it?
I think so. It's on the
Okay.
north side of Tennessee.
We signed a Renee Miller from Bear, Delaware, offensive lineman, 335.
But
Big old boy.
This is what I like out of all these things, and I realize there's pros and cons. There's a reason why somebody goes into a portal and all of those other things. So with that all being understood, Rice, Georgia Southern, Wofford,
Yeah.
Western Kentucky, Howard, FIU, Western Kentucky, USF, Liberty, Alcorn State, these West Georgia.
We're taking advantage of the portal.
Correct, and it's not just high school guys that we're working out. These are guys who have got a little seasoning and coming back for some home cooking.
Yes. So we signed some other wide receivers besides the ones we mentioned were so fast. A very late announcement was a gentleman named Clayton Kopic from Atlanta.
From Mays
at
High School.
Mays High School. So
A burner.
yeah. So it's very interesting. And I looked today, and our coaches are still out offering class of 26 and class of 27 scholarships for them. So
That's awesome.
we're not stopping because it was
A
signing
good
day.
So,
no,
and-
you can't, right?
Yeah.
So I know they all do recruiting, but Mike Kershaw he's kind of in charge of the portal and NIL, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, as the general manager.
Yeah.
We need to get him and Jerry back on the show.
Yeah.
Talk about how recruiting went.
Hey, we know you were on the show last 3 weeks ago, but
Yeah.
come on, get back on the show. We need to
Yeah,
talk
we'd
to
love to have
some
you
more.
back.
Well, we need to get him on the show so they make this the official coaches show this fall.
Yeah,
That's
we
very
talked.
true.
Well, I even talked to Coach Mack about that at a basketball game. He said he'd love to do that. So
Yeah.
we need to. I keep hoping I'm going to run into him at a basketball game again, but I haven't seen him the last couple.
Yeah, because they were busy recruiting for
Yeah.
today. So.
Yeah.
The kid that we got from Alcorn State, 6'6", 335.
Yeah. Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, but isn't it funny? We talked about it, and as Coach Bo alluded to, with the offense that we were running at the level that we were running, mobile offensive linemen were what was most necessary. You had to have somebody who was quick and able to pull
Cut
or
block.
move and cut block.
When you could cut block.
And, now all of a sudden we're at a different level, and, man.
Pro style offense, you got to be able to
Well,
pass,
6'6".
pass block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they took away the cut block on the outside is the reason we stopped running a triple option and created problems for us. So spring practices start Monday, March 3rd, and we'll do the allowable number of days. I think they take a week off for spring break for the students.
15 practice.
15
practices, and the game counts as a practice.
Okay.
Yeah, very excited about the spring game this year. Yeah.
So our tailgate buddies over there, Will and Garrett from the Blacklight Tailgating Club, are trying to figure out what they were going to do. They were talking about, well, do we have breakfast? Do we tailgate after? What do we do?
Well, let's get Will on here and talk about that. So,
Okay.
Carrick, thanks for coming
All
on as
right.
always. Appreciate our Mac Attack hats.
Absolutely.
And let's get our Dan Fisher commercial out of the way, and we'll talk some with Will the Thrill.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable work outing ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access has 3.5 Atlanta locations waiting for you in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile Axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, and look for them at American Access online, or give them a call at 678-763-3635.
Where can you call them?
678-763-3635.
And what's that
schedule
number?
Your next adventure.
And what's that number?
It's the big one on the screen.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Will the Thrill, ladies and gentlemen. Will Winfro. Thank you, Will.
How are you?
I'd reach over there, but I eat
Will
wings.
is-
Even though I clean my hands, that's way too white.
Will
There you
is
go.
toting his ball with him tonight.
There you
Will,
go.
what have you with you?
But Will is taking his ball and going home.
No, he's taking his ball and coming here.
Oh,
There you go.
Actually, he got it here.
I got this. I won this at the auction Friday night at the baseball
That
event.
you weren't even here for.
I was not even there. I
He's
had
done a Pepsi-Cola.
I had an inside bidder like I did last year.
Wonder what her name, who that could be.
Yeah. So I send a list with her. I go, here's my max bid on these items.
And what did you get?
Well, this is a basketball signed by Coach Petway.
Oh, okay, by Coach Petway.
Yeah, Coach Petway.
What is your intention with that ball? Are you going to try to get the whole team to sign it at any point, or just going to leave it like that?
The only person I'd probably get to sign it was Chuck Stone.
I was already thinking that.
I can make that happen.
I was watching Chuck do shoot around. He's got that cool little mustache now. We need to have him on just for
I
that.
don't know about cool, but he's got that
Well, no,
mustache.
the mustache wasn't cool until Top Gun came back out or Spencer Strider came out. But either way, he's looking good.
Well, speaking of Chuck, did you guys know that we had they had the Owl Awards a couple weeks ago, and Chuck Stone won
Best teammate.
Teammate of the year.
Yeah. We talked about that at the ball game last Thursday night. And let me tell you, whose ball, our ball, is nothing without you there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It kind of fell flat on its face without Will.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
my loud voice wasn't there.
No. We
They
miss
don't
you.
call you Boomer for nothing.
Boomer Sooner, baby. Yeah, that's cool. We were talking a little bit before the show about you think the football schedule is coming out this week. Robert, have they got that posted yet?
I don't believe so, sir.
Yeah.
I checked just a little while ago, and it was not posted.
They don't even have the games because we know who the first two are, right?
Well, we know the first 4 games.
Oh, do we?
So we're playing Wake Forest at Wake Forest on a Friday night.
I hate they moved
August
that.
That one
3rd,
changed.
29th,
29th,
because my anniversary is the 30th.
which is karaoke night.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then the next week we're playing Indiana
at Indiana.
in Bloomington.
Yep.
And then we added a new team
Monmouth.
Not Monmouth. It starts with an M though.
Merrimack.
Merrimack University.
Merrimack College.
Jerry
out of-
Mack is
are they
playing
out of-
It's not even a
Merrimack.
Are
university.
they out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, or where are they out of?
They are.
Or
They
New
are.
Jersey. There's two of them.
They're not.
Merrimack, New Jersey.
Yeah, they're up there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a religious school, so we're going to take them behind the
Yeah,
shed.
There you go.
Take them behind the church.
And then we've got who was the fourth game? I don't remember.
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State. Yes.
That's a tough game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red
And then the
Wolves.
rest after that we go into conference games. And
But what Arkansas State, weren't they in Conference USA? Not in
Arkansas State is Sunbelt.
Atlantic Sun with us? I
Sunbelt.
thought we played them.
No.
Oh, it was
You're
Central
thinking
Arkansas.
of Central
Central
Arkansas.
Arkansas
Central
Bears.
Arkansas. The
Arkansas
Bears.
State is Sunbelt.
So Arkansas State has made a bowl game in probably 8 years in a row or very close to it. They are a very fast athletic team, so
Yeah.
that'll be a very
They
difficult
were
game.
8-6 this year. Their defensive coordinator got hired by Oklahoma as a linebackers coach.
Oh wow.
That's good. Hopefully they don't replace him with anybody good.
Yep. So I know you're a big baseball fan too.
Looking forward to the baseball season.
Yeah.
It's being played on the Marietta campus.
Yep. Down at your old campus.
My old campus,
Yeah.
yes. Where the best seat in the house is not in the stadium.
Yeah.
There's a hill on the
Yeah.
first base side. You can just sit at the top of the hill in your camp chair
Yeah.
and watch the game.
Yeah. It's a cool place.
I love a good college stadium where you can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few good games. You went to the game in El Paso.
Oh, the
Football
football game, yes.
There's a spot where you can watch
Oh, you
from
can
the
sit
mountain
you can-
outside on the mountain.
Well, if you're a mountain goat, you can climb that mountain.
Well, I seen it during the Sun Bowl, and there's always a couple people sitting over on
yeah.
the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there is no road that takes you there, though. You do have
You better be a goat.
you got to walk that mountain.
So you're more excited about the baseball season or the spring game?
Well, I'm always excited about the spring game, which, by the way, is April 5th, whatever that
Yes,
Saturday is.
April
It's close
5th.
to your birthday
April
because that's
5th.
when they sing Happy Birthday to you.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I thought it was going to be my birthday because last year I missed the game because I was in Montana.
Yeah, I remember that,
And
yeah.
I'm going to Montana right after the spring game this year.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, we're going back there again.
Yeah.
But it's April 5th, 11 o'clock in the morning, so it's kind of early. So I'm sure we will have a breakfast.
A tailgate breakfast?
We will definitely have a tailgate breakfast. We may have a tailgate dinner the night before, but
So we're looking at breakfast, not a post game lunch or anything.
well,
You never
that's
can
that's
tell.
still to be determined.
But breakfast could happen.
Well, we could definitely have
regardless.
victory donuts because we're going to win.
We're gonna win. Absolutely, we're gonna win, and we're all gonna wear our Mac Attack hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's at home. I got, but yeah. So we got permission to
What do
call
you
it the
mean
Mac
you
Attack.
got yours at home? When did you get yours?
Oh, I got mine like the day they were printed.
Well, the first person I ever heard anybody say anybody about it was you when you asked Coach Mack about it when he was on the show.
Yes.
As the offense could be called the Mack Attack.
I asked him if we could call it the Mac Attack.
I said, what a great thing. I said, so I'm glad
And we've
Carrick
already-
took that.
I don't know if we've talked about this because we've been planning menu items around that name.
Big Macs.
So we're gonna have a mac and cheese bar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we talked a
we're
little
gonna
bit
have
about
like
that.
multiple toppings that you could put on mac and cheese, like bacon
that's what this focus of the spring game ought to be. is
Well,
the
we're
Mac.
we're gonna say we'll come up with something. I feel certain.
Well, and you know something else that's good with mac and cheese, just regular barbecue. Just put a little barbecue down,
Absolutely.
put a little mac and cheese, and you're like, what is it? Oh,
I know somebody who can make some barbecue.
I've met a couple
know a
people
guy.
like that.
I know a guy.
I got a guy.
They might show up in the black lot on a regular basis.
And we'll have Big Mac burgers this
Yeah,
year.
Big Mac.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd eat.
They'll
I
be-
can't
they'll be
tell
better
you the
than
last
Big
time I
Macs.
had a Big Mac. It's been decades.
This is going to be better than the normal Big
Yeah,
Mac.
this is
Yeah.
going to be the Jerry Mac.
Yeah. Oh, maybe something like what they served at Miller's. Maybe do a giant burger like they did. You're familiar with that.
Yeah, I went on a diet and lost 110 pounds after that.
Well,
Congratulations.
that was probably 50 of it, that one burger.
That one burger.
Well, I just want to say that might not that we get to take credit for it, but we probably will. That might be the greatest thing the show's ever done.
That was that and Callie.
No.
squatting.
You losing 110
Oh, me
pounds.
losing 110
Yeah,
pounds.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
show itself was fun.
I've still got a few more to go. So,
It's okay.
Well, I got some new news about Callie.
oh, what's that?
She's going to sing at karaoke.
Can Callie sing?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's going
No.
to sing on your anniversary at karaoke.
Awesome.
Yeah, at karaoke. So,
I
yeah.
hate I'm going to miss that.
Where are you going for your anniversary?
I'm going to be in Wake Forest.
No, the game's the night before. You're coming back Saturday, right?
No. It's my anniversary. I got to make a weekend out of
you
it.
stay for the weekend? Okay.
Absolutely. We're probably going up Thursday and doing a tailgate all day Friday, and then we'll stay.
He
I
still
hate I'm
hasn't
gonna miss
figured
the
out
game.
that he's not driving from North Carolina to Indiana
No, please
that
come
week.
home first because I want to go with you to Indiana.
I'm probably flying to Indiana.
Oh, are you?
Probably. I don't know how long is that
Yeah,
drive.
it's an 8-hour drive. You
That's
do
not that
not
bad.
want to drive
Yeah,
to,
we'll probably
especially
fly
to
down.
I'm getting ready to drive to-
Bloomington.
I'm
Once you
getting
get
ready to
in
drive to
Indiana,
Boston.
the
I'm not
roads
a-
are too
well,
rough.
I'm not
and-
afraid of driving.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Just
probably,
fun
probably
drive.
not an airport in Bloomington, is there?
No, you have to fly to Indy and then
There's
go
one in
west.
Bloomington, Illinois.
Out,
But
I think
not
it's
Indiana.
I-40
Okay.
to get to Bloomington.
Well,
Yeah.
you fly to Cincinnati, which is not really in Cincinnati.
It's in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, even the name of the airport's Northern Kentucky Airport.
I know. Yeah, that's funny because I just tell them, I said, I've only got 13 states I need to go to. They said, have you been to Cincinnati? I said, yeah. She said that airport's not in Ohio. It's in
It's
Kentucky.
in Kentucky.
Yeah, so I had to add Ohio back to my list, where Robert's been many, many times.
Interstate 69 down to Bloomington.
Yeah.
There we go.
I knew 40 was too
Oh, it's
far.
69
I knew
to
40 was too
Bloomington?
far south when he said that. I was like, what is that? It was 70 goes through.
74. I don't know my interstates in Indiana. 465 goes around the city.
So it's just twice
Eisenhower.
as long as it is to Murfreesboro. We didn't have a bad ride to Murfreesboro.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
But you know, if I can get up on a Friday and just get in there, get to the airport and fly there, I'd rather do that.
Well, I may have to drive up and just meet you there. I don't want to fly. I want to.
If you're going to drive
like
up,
to
you got
drive.
to stay for like a weekend.
Please. I've driven to Gainesville, Florida, and turned around and came back before for a meeting.
I've driven to Tampa and back for a.
Yeah. I had a meeting
absolutely.
with Shands Teaching Hospital in Gainesville. I
I've
said,
done
I'm
some-
just going to turn around and go home.
I've done some stupid drives where, you might as well have been in the Smokey or the Bandit. It's like, okay, we're driving to Texarkana for how long? 12 minutes. We're coming right back.
Craziest job I ever did. I felt like I just needed to get to the beach. And I left here one morning and went down to Orange Beach, Alabama.
Yeah.
Walked around for about 5 hours, turned around and came home.
There you go.
I just needed the beach, needed that vitamin C. But yeah, I wouldn't mind driving. I'd love to go to Winston-Salem. I wish it was any other weekend. But
Yeah. Well,
it's
you got
beautiful.
you.
You've been there before? Beautiful campus.
I have not. That's
Beautiful.
one of
Wake
the
is a
few
beautiful
places, one of the few ACC schools I've not been to.
yeah, that's a beautiful campus.
And that's a private school, so
Yes.
it's a little different than the rest of them.
so
but, very nice.
are you keeping up with the recruiting and stuff that Coach Mack's doing?
I can tell you, I started looking at the offensive line, the size and weight, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I hope they can play as well as they are big.
Yes. Well,
Because
what a difference it's going to make, I
Yeah.
think, from what we had last year. And
Well-
nothing to belittle Coach Bohannon because we all loved Coach Bo.
he was the team was moving in this direction anyway, but
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Well, no, this is, we recruited guys, and we got guys coming out of high school now that are 6'6", 300 pounds. And at some point, just standing there, you're going to get in somebody's way, I hope. Because
Especially if you've got 5 of them.
Yes.
If there's 5 guys who are 6'6" and 300.
how much was the guy that we had on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago? With the-
305.
Yeah, he was
6'3"
300.
to 305.
Yeah, and then the quarterback was over 6
6'5".
foot.
6'5", 200.
Absolutely. So that's a lot better than where we've been.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, pun not intended, but
Right.
yeah, it's big.
It's time. I mean,
Yeah,
and Coach Bo even told us this: to compete in Conference UFA, you need big linemen. And
Yeah.
it's something we never had.
And so I don't know the total number. I know it was 13 today, and I think it was 15 or 18 before today in transfers.
Yeah.
So when you look at the transfer portal and how that's affecting college football, we're turning over kids at a much larger number than we ever have before.
Yeah.
So we're going in this with 30 new kids.
And I think that has a lot to do with Coach Mack's experience at Tennessee.
Yeah.
And being able to reach out to
No doubt about
a
that.
higher level of athlete.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say they did a phenomenal job for coming in when they did, hit the ground running, putting a coaching staff together and getting kids in the transfer portal all in the same 3-week time span. I think they did a phenomenal job.
And before I forget, we need to congratulate Coach Bo on his new position.
yeah,
at
he's
Georgia
back
Tech.
back with Tech.
Yeah, so I'm very,
Very nice.
excited about that. Yeah.
Very glad about that. But, at the same time, I just lost my thought. You were just talking about, what did you just say? We were talking about
The number of players in the transfer portal.
now looking back on it, are you a little better and a little more okay with when they got rid of Coach Bo? Because, once again, everybody always said, well, they should have given him to the end of the season. But if you give him to the end of the season, you
You're
can't get
behind.
the coaches in line, and you can't do this, and you probably don't have this many recruits or transfers. I'm just throwing that out there.
When they, okay, I have
Both
to
sides.
give my opinion on Coach Bo firing, and I love Coach Bo, but we had basically 2 transition seasons. We had the one transition season where we were at the end of the FCS. We couldn't even go to
we
the
played
FCS
nobody.
playoffs.
Yeah.
And then we were the first year of FBS where we couldn't even go to the bowl game, even if we won. So those are the 2 years that he had losing seasons. Those are the only 2 years he had losing seasons. So I thought he should have gotten one more year. That was my opinion, was if he'd have lost 3 seasons in a row, at some point you just can't keep doing that.
Understood.
And I thought he had a chance to start winning again, but that's a different story. And then I said, well, they fired him with 3 or 4 games to go, and I said the only reason that they would have done that was to get somebody in.
For the reason that
Now,
it's come true.
I still think, just like I'll never say that I like that they got rid of him, but at some point that was the reason the decision was made, and that was the timing of the decision.
Yeah.
Was basically AD was going to take the hit and say, I got to take the hit so that I can get things going, and I think that's what he did.
Correct, because
I agree.
And neither here nor there, and I don't claim to know college athletics like the front or back of my hand, which I don't know very well at all. But at the end of the day, if he does fire coach at the end of the year, gives him the whole season, everybody still hates him for that.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's not prepared to get any of these players.
Yes.
So, that's a lose-lose. Hypothetically, we've got a lose-win.
So this is the first, I don't know if this is the right word, but high-profile firing that Milton's had to go through.
Sure.
So he got rid of the basketball coach, the one before Amir, but I don't think there was any love lost with that coach.
Yeah.
So, because that was just not a winning program. It's Skinner, I
Time
think was
for
his
change.
name. It was time for a change.
Al Skinner, former Boston College coach.
Yes. So it was time for a change. But so Milton kind of put himself out there, and I think his long-term reputation is going to be based on how this turns out.
Absolutely.
If it turns out good, then it's going to be a fantastic. Everybody's going to go, it was great. It was the perfect timing. If it turns out bad, he's still going to get blasted for it.
Yeah.
So
Which is the way everything works, right?
yeah, that's the way it works.
Time tells all, right?
And I love Milton. I'm a good friends with Milton, and even I have talked about this, and I was like, you put yourself out there on that one. But that's kind of where he was going with it. Was he thought it was time to make a change, so he made the change to give himself time to get things going. Because it took him 3 weeks. I don't know if you know this. Talking to Milton about this, he told me that it took 3 weeks between when they first interviewed him to when they offered him the job.
2.5 weeks is what Coach Max told us.
Yeah. It was. So it was not hey, we interviewed him, we liked him, let's offer him the job.
Yeah.
It was a two and a half, 3
he
week
said
period.
he heard from a recruiter or something. He said 2.5 weeks later they offered me the job. He said I knew this is where I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
and with that position, I know we're running a little over right now, but with that position, when you go to hire somebody, you can't, you fall in love with a lot of people, so you've got to interview more than one person. Even if you fall in love with Matt, it's like, let's bring one more person in. Wow, so you have to do that. It takes a few weeks, and up and away from here.
Yeah.
Hootie
Yeah,
hoo.
because I mean, let's be honest. We are Kennesaw. We're not interviewing.
Saban.
We're not interviewing Saban, even though we
Not yet.
Not yet. But so we did have to hire ask some people some questions and talk to people and kind of interview different people to kind of figure out where we were going. And I think we ended up with going in the right direction.
I
think it was a grand slam. I just hope it all works out.
Well,
And I'll be there to support him.
There you go.
Key.
Speaking
With
of
a
going,
flag.
speaking of going in the right direction,
flag.
it's time to go home.
Yes.
We're running late, and Larry's about to fall asleep over there at the keyboard. So we want to thank everybody for being on tonight. Garrett, thank you for our baseball cards.
Garrett's the man.
He brought you Brian Jordan cards?
He got us.
Carrick, thanks for being on with us. And
Sweetest
Will the Thrill,
taboo.
as always, buddy, thanks for coming on. So one more big hootie hoo, and we'll see you next week. Hootie hoo!
Thanks.